Hello and welcome to episode 10. That's right, I'm naming this episode number 10. We made it to number 10, boys.
Yay! A milestone!
Yay! Our first proper milestone. Even though we've recorded probably more than 10 episodes. Anyway, that doesn't matter. This is officially episode number 10. So thank you for sticking with us, and we got here finally. Many months after recording the very first episode.
We made it to double figures without being chased out of town with torches and pitchforks.
Yay! And to celebrate reaching number 10, we're going to kick this off with a lovely piece of feedback which has had me chuckling for several minutes now, from our good friend Rick, who's, I don't know, do you want to take this one or shall I? Because it's
I was just wondering,
word.
have I got more chance of reading this without bursting out laughing than you have?
You possibly have, because I can't stop giggling about it when I see it.
Okay, so I'll let you giggle along in the background then.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so from the Admiral, he says, he's quoting us actually to start,
Yes.
but we enjoy all the feedback we get, ... Yeah, we don't get enough feedback to take any exception to fuck, I fucked it up. Yeah, we don't get enough feedback to take exception to any of it. With that in mind, dear cunts.
You bad man.
Do you think he thought maybe we were a little bit ungrateful at the massive amount of feedback he sent us over the last 10 episodes? He does put, he, just kidding. You know I love you both dearly. Sorry I've been so lax in writing, but I've been a bit busy. I really enjoyed the Evil Dead review because, like Pablo, I didn't want to watch these movies, but I love to hear y'all talk about them and what they're about. I'm so glad you talked about The Purge, and will be very interested in your opinion about it. I think my wife wants to see it, so I might just have to as well. And Troll Hunter is on my Netflix queue. That's a tongue twister. Say Netflix queue 3 times quickly. It's on my Netflix queue, so I'll let you know what I thought when I finally get a chance to watch it. Will watching films for y'all be the new equivalent of trying new beers for HGN? That's a Here Goes Nothing reference. My old podcast, which I think disappeared off the ether this week. I'm going to repost them all. They will still be available, so fear not. It's a temporary blip. Okay. But yes, Rick, it will. Hugs and kisses, Rick.
Yay. Thank you, Admiral.
Yeah. Funny you should mention The Purge. I went to see it yesterday.
Damn it. I haven't seen it yet.
Well, one of us has to do the hard work. No, I'm joking.
Oh, now do I want to know what you think, or do I want to hold it off till I've seen it? Oh.
Are you going to see it?
I really want to see it. It got delayed a week over here.
Oh, did it?
For some unknown reason.
Oh.
Because we were supposed to get it before you guys, and now you have got it before us. So it just came out this weekend, and I believe, I've read a story, that it took 3.4 million to make this movie before marketing and all that stuff, and it's on schedule to make 38 million.
Really?
Domestically,
Bloody hell.
yeah. So it is. So that's all I've read about it, and I've tried to stay away from reviews and everything. But
well, I'm not going to say anything spoilerific about it. So there's actually no real danger. So I suppose I could dump my opinion now and wait.
Yes.
You can next time.
Yeah,
see
hopefully
if it tallies
I can catch
up
up next time. Okay.
Because I know also we have another listener to the show, Odile, and I had the very great privilege of going out with a few podcasty type people this week. Some of whom listen to this show, or at least one. Odile, I believe, is one of them. And she asked me if I'd seen it yet, and she was very impressed by the film. So I thought, oh, okay, because I was actually a bit meh. Seems like a stupid concept going in. I thought. And none of that is spoilerific because it's in the trailers. So every year, the new founding fathers of the United States of Stupid. So this is in context of the film, okay? Just before you'll come and shoot me.
And you know they will.
The America represented in this film is the United States of Stupid, and they've decided that to help with crime levels, that only one night a year murder is allowed. Basically, they do make a couple of. The rules are actually quite cool. They spell them out in the movie, and again, I won't spoil what they are, but there is sort of stuff you think, well, people could do this, people could do that, and they go, you've thought of that, good. But it didn't surprise me at all. Okay. It didn't do anything overtly clever. It's well made, but it's it's kind of it's a bit of a social commentary, and it's a home invasion movie, and it doesn't push a boat out much beyond that.
Okay.
So I, for one, won't be raving about it, but at the same time, it's not a bad movie at all. Odil's comment is that the main bad guy in this, he is somebody, he's Reese something, I can't remember his surname. Watch out for him. If anybody was going to make Batman yet again, and they need a character to play the Joker, this guy would be perfect.
Really?
He wouldn't actually need the makeup for the smile.
Oh, wow.
And he does creepy, sinister, I'm going to fuck you up face brilliantly. He does a really good job of putting you on edge. So, yeah, I do agree with her very much on that point. So, yeah, it's very much about how certain sections of society can think something's okay because, in principle, because it doesn't directly affect them.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, in this movie, it begins to directly affect them, and they realise, actually, this isn't the best idea in the world. So, it's, yeah, none of that spoiler, it's all in the trailer.
Yes.
Before anybody lynches me.
In the trailer, from people who actually might have watched it after hearing it on our show, it gives a lot. It looks as though it gives a lot away as to what happens in home invasion and all that fun stuff. Because it's a home invasion one, I'm surprised you went to see it. I know you said before you're not quite a fan of the home invasion.
I'm not actually, not at all. And that's probably why I'm quite indifferent about this movie. People who've liked those kind of movies in the past will probably enjoy it. I went to see it because we talked about it on the show, and I wanted to follow up on that. Now, the question becomes, does it deserve to be mentioned on our show?
Really?
Is it horror? Maybe I'll leave that question till you've seen it. I know what I think.
Interesting.
There is blood in it, but
Okay.
that doesn't necessarily qualify you for the horror title. So maybe we'll leave that question hanging until you've seen it.
Yeah, and that question will pop up in one of the movies that I've watched as well.
Okay.
This week, which was a bit strange. Okay, one more question on this, because I'm intrigued. Did it end well? Because I was worried about how this could end and it just completely fuck up the whole movie. Okay.
Well, it doesn't end badly.
Okay.
It could have ended better. There's a very cool bit just before the end, which just makes you, laugh out loud kind of thing. But it's not as dramatic as you might expect. Put it that way.
Right. Okay.
So I daren't say anything else.
Okay.
One thing I didn't realise from the trailer, I don't know why, maybe because I watched it on a small screen, but the wife of the family is played by the lady who plays Cersei Lannister in Game of Thrones, and Mama in Judge Dredd. So, of course, I've only ever seen her be a completely evil bitch. So, all the way through the movie, I'm expecting her to just turn on her family or something and just fuck them up. This is just like, I don't trust her. And I've just never seen her be a nice person.
Yeah.
She actually does a very good job.
I didn't even put two and two together when I seen Judge Dredd in the trailer. Obviously, she looks completely different than Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
Dredd.
very different.
Okay, I'm definitely going to have to try and see it now.
It's not a waste of money. I don't feel... I didn't walk out the cinema saying, I want my money back. Although, however, I did walk out the cinema, walk past the staff, and they said, oh, have a good night, and they were really friendly. And I said, yeah, I will now. I said, it would be nice if you guys could have popped in some point during the performance. And they went, oh, really? I said, yeah, because the people behind us, if they wanted to talk through a fucking movie, they should have gone home and watched a DVD. I fucking get so angry with that. And rustling loudly papers. I have this rant every time I get to the cinema, don't I?
It's as though you get people who annoy you.
But being British, I say nothing. I should just tell you, shut the fuck up, you chavs!
Yeah, then smack 'em one. There's not a judge in the land who loved movies who would convict you.
I actually said to... I don't know if you've seen this. There's a cinema in London that has ninjas, right? So people who wear black... all-in-one bodysuits and a hood thing over the head as well.
Okay.
And if people are being disruptive in the movie or rustling a packet, they sneak across the seats and they don't see them coming and they just tap them on the shoulder and go, shh, and scare the shit out of them. It's a brilliant idea. There's footage of this online of with night vision, and honestly, in a dark cinema and you're watching the film, they'll literally creep along the row in front of you and just pop up in front of you and go, shh. Or just touch you and wave their finger at you, and it scares the shit out of people. Absolutely
That is
brilliant.
awesome.
That should be done everywhere.
I'd love that job.
Yeah. Although in certain cinemas in certain places in the country, I think they should carry machetes as well. But anyway, let's move on.
Yes. We could spend hours talking about all this.
It's not true that watching horror films makes you violent.
Not at all. Next. So, thank you, Admiral, for your comment, and that segued very well into Mr. Bozzy's What I've Been Watching. Would you like to continue with that, or shall we jump in for me?
No, you go first, I think.
Me
today.
go first.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. I've been watching a very varied selection of movies, shall we say. Starting off with one that I've been trying to find things that I can watch with my son.
Okay.
And try and bring him into the horror blanket of love. And it's like...
Without traumatising him completely.
Yes, and it's like, well, what do you put on there? Because I don't want to have things on there that's going to rank incredibly high on the boobometer, or the boobometer, or have other sort of sexual references and stuff, because he's almost 14, and we still want to keep him kind of pure in that way.
Yeah.
Plus his mom would kick my ass. But, you know, blood and stuff, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Because he's clever enough to know that it's just a movie and these things aren't real and all that stuff.
It's the age I was watching Aliens and Predator, so...
Yeah. So what we were doing is I was flicking through Netflix, because all of a sudden they put on shitloads of B-horror movies over here. So I just thought, you know what? Bring in a little B-horror. It might have a boob in it, but it's going to be campy, over-the-top stuff, probably, and he might get a laugh out of it and see how stupid and fun horror can be. So I thought that's quite a good little way to put him in it. And don't ask me why, but I picked a movie called Shakma. Shakma. Which is basically a movie about a wild animal attacking people trapped in a large tower.
It started as a study of human aggression. It led to experiments on primates. But something went wrong. Starring Christopher Atkins, two-time recipient of the National Association of Theater Owners Star of the Year Award. First for Blue Lagoon, now for Shakma. Also starring Amanda Wyss of Silverado and Nightmare on Elm Street. Ari Myers from TV's Kate and Alley, featuring Roddy McDowell as Professor Sorensen. And Shakma, shocking audiences everywhere.
And the DVD box poster, the one I'm looking at, it shows an incredibly large tower. In reality, it's like 6 stories tall, which I don't really think classifies as a large tower, or even a tower. And the Shakma, I believe, is a type of baboon.
Ah, okay.
So it's basic, and it's one of the funny things is it has Roddy McDowell in it, playing a really weird doctor. So it's basically just they're doing some genetic experimentation on these baboons, or these Shakmas, and they have to, at the very beginning, it's not really spoiling anything, very beginning, one of the baboons has to be put down. And the guy who was like, oh no, he's really upset because I didn't want to have to put him down, I was training him, he was going to be good, blah blah blah. But it turns out that when he goes to put him down, he picks up the wrong little vial of liquid and injects him with something which basically turns the baboon into a rage monkey.
Ah.
And
He didn't punch him to put him down then.
No.
Sorry.
And the
Eddie Izzard reference there, sorry everybody.
Sorry. And I'm just running that through my head. And basically the rest of the movie, which is like an hour and a half long after we find out that the baboon has gone in a rage, is about this baboon attacking everybody left in the building.
Okay.
And then I mean, it's nothing over the top. This baboon is fucking scary, by the way. If I saw one of these things coming at me, or grabbing the door and banging on the door the way it was in this movie, it would scare the absolute living shit out of you.
Okay.
This is a scary ass fucking monkey, or baboon, and that's like the only scary thing in the whole thing. Is like this thing is real, and I can imagine if it got loose, it could do some damage on people. So I'm hoping there's some tight controls on it. The movie's a pile of garbage. So it is. It's just, it's a B movie. So you know the levels of the acting and everything involved in that. And
yeah, you got to be careful there. You could turn him off horror forever.
Well, he kind of was like, this is weird. This is funny. Why are they doing this? And he kept asking me all these questions, and I'm like, you're never going to get the answers to these questions. So you don't think about it in a B movie. You just watch and enjoy. And at the end of it, it was a bit like, yeah, it was quite good. I enjoyed that. So I was like, okay, we did okay. But I mean, do not go seeking this out, people. If it's on and you see it, maybe spend 10-15 minutes in it. The monkey kills people in pretty good ways. Eats the face, really. So some pretty gory little cuts, but it's nothing over the top, and it's just a bit of fun. So it is. But yeah, if you ever see this monkey going, oh my god, the rage in this monkey. It freaked me out.
Monkey see, monkey rip your face off.
Yes, pretty much. And it's just weird. You got to watch it just for the monkey the way it acts. Give it 5 minutes on that if you can find it on YouTube.
I might have a nosy.
So it is, but it's just the way this monkey acts is the thing that really creeped me out. So that was fun. And then I have been just catching up on stuff on my own. Again, just flicking through Netflix and seeing what they're coming up with. And this one caught my eye, and I don't know how I feel about it. I've discussed it before on my Fright Fest review that I watched Hatchet. Was one of the movies I've seen.
I haven't been able to find that.
It was on Netflix. I don't know if it still is.
No, not that I found. And I saw the second one was around. I think, I don't want to watch the second one until I see the first one. So
yeah, and the way it was billed at Fright Fest, or the way they kind of played it up, was, hey, this movie's completely original. It's not a sequel. It's not based on another movie, based on a true story. Blah 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 blah. Here's Hatchet. Here's my take on a serial killer supernatural thing. And then he comes out and does Hatchet 2.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit like, really? Come on. You don't build up the first one to say, hey, it's a completely original-esque type movie, and then you're going to turn around and just make a sequel.
Well, the reason I wanted to see it is because Andrew mentioned that Hatchet 2 wasn't bad. I'm thinking, well, I haven't seen the first one, so I can't watch it yet.
And I'll not go into too many details on it, but it's not bad. It's not good. It's one of those ones where I feel that, you know how everybody says you have to up the ante when you're doing a sequel, which I don't always believe. I don't think you have to, providing you can do a decent story. You can. It doesn't have to be kind of the deaths have to be gory or more blood or more boobs or whatever. This does rank high on the boobometer, not as high as Hatchet 1 does, but it ranks high on there. But it's just they're blatantly just put in there just to show boobs.
Right.
That's all. There is no redeeming thing around it at all.
Okay.
If you watch the first one, you know the second one goes when he picks up the video camera. That's all I'll say. So you know what you're expecting, and it's blatant. Here's some tits because I can do it. Hey, and you're gonna watch it. Hey, yep. So. Which is fine, I guess, if you're doing it for a little bit of shits and giggles, you can do that. And then the kills are like completely over the top in some of them. He just ranks the stupidometer.
I think I really enjoy this
up
movie.
To a 10. It can be a fun little thing. The good thing I do like about it is the fact that it picks up exactly where Hatchet left off. So it's not one of these sequels that's a year later or 6 months later or anything like that. It's boom, end of the first movie, you're right into the sequel. And now I've found out there's a Hatchet 3, which is stupid. And it doesn't really give anything away from Hatchet 2, so I'm not. But again, I found out that Hatchet 3 picks up exactly where Hatchet 2 left off. So It's kind of clever that way. But I don't want to say too much about it other than it's a bit of silly fun. But I wouldn't say it's a 5.3 on IMDb, and I think that's pretty much where it belongs. Really,
Right.
The first one was far superior. The
Have you
second one,
seen-
you just ran away
Sorry.
with it. Go.
Have you seen Cabin Fever?
I have seen Cabin Fever.
What do you think of that?
It's been a long time since I've seen it, so bear with me if I get some stuff wrong. But I really enjoyed it. It kind of grossed me out a little bit
Yeah.
when I was watching it. It did go over the top a little bit on
Well, it's Eli
the,
Roth.
on the goriness of things. But I thought it was a really creepy story, really well told.
Yeah.
I have started to watch the second one and it's awful.
It's
switched it off a few times.
It's beyond awful.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because one of the best things about Cabin Fever actually is if you get the DVD and watch the extras on there and watch the interview with Eli.
Yes.
And you start to really appreciate that man's position on the horror genre.
Oh man, that man is all over it.
Yeah.
So that I remember watching the extras on that, and I think some of the extras on that is when he did short stories with vegetables.
Okay, I didn't get that far.
You have to watch it; they're hilarious.
Oh, okay.
It's like fruits and vegetables or something like that. It's absolutely hilarious. The little shorts, or at least the DVD that I saw, and I'm sure it was Cabin Fever.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I mentioned that because of Cabin Fever 2, it was one of those. It was so terrible. I must have half watched it, and then erased from my memory the fact that I had because I saw it again the other day. I put it on. I thought I've seen this, and it's like it's not even close to being the same sort of movie, other than it's got one like character who's the same.
yes,
But what disappointed me is the director's Ty West.
I know that is the big thing.
It's like because I thought, I didn't realise it was him. I'm going to watch it. Oh, I've seen this. It's awful.
Yeah. And I can't, for the love of me, I cannot remember what the story is around this in Ty West. But there's a story behind it.
Oh,
Whether
right.
he didn't want to be named on it, or they weren't going to release
okay.
it, or they weren't going to release it, and he wanted it released. There's some big story behind that he mentioned at the Fright Fest where the House and the Devil was on.
Right.
And I can't remember what the story is, but there's something around
I will look into that, I think.
between
I'm
him and that. I'm sure it's
curious.
on there somewhere. But yeah, Cabin Fever 2 is awful. But Cabin Fever, I really enjoyed it when I saw it. I don't know if it lives up to a second viewing or what.
Yeah, this is talking about the, sort of the DVD Netflix thing. It's an interesting point because there are certain things where I'm like, oh, I don't buy DVDs anymore. I'm thinking, well, yeah, but when Evil Dead comes out, I'm so getting a Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Because you can have all the streaming services in the world, but if you do actually enjoy watching, director commentaries and the extras and how things are made and all that kind of thing, the disc format is going to be valid for quite a long time until they find out, unless they start to add that to streaming films or streaming services that you now watch the making of or whatever, which I'm sure they will get to, but as it stands now, it keeps it, disc purchases as a valid thing.
Yes. I know I think it's on iTunes, some movies you can buy, you get like a making of featurette, or you get some other little thing with it.
Right.
But you
So they're
obviously
starting to do it.
But obviously, you don't want to be I don't know how to download it with the director's commentary on it. Whether that's just one of the language options that you get on it, or all those fun things. But I'm sure when they start doing it, that's when they're going to start charging you like freaking an extra 15 fucking quid in it or whatever. Because this is what was really pissing me off the other day. Is that I'm going to go on to Amazon online and I'm going to buy my movie.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spend $15 on a movie which I can download, because I can just wait and walk into Walmart or walk into any other store and I can buy the physical copy for $20, which will get me the Blu-ray, it'll get me the DVD, it'll get me the digital copy, and it'll get me all my features.
Yeah.
Why am I paying $15 for a digital copy only? It's completely ridiculous
Yeah.
that they can try and fuck you over that. just for the convenience of watching it, you're like, no, screw you, I'll go buy the DVD.
Yeah.
If I desperately want to own the movie, sorry.
Yeah, just to get the best deal, I'll get it from Amazon. In your
Yeah.
face.
Yeah. Yeah, you bastards. Gonna give them my money anyway.
But not as much.
No. But that was annoying me, and the main reason it's annoyed me is because one of the movies which I'm going to not talk about here but mention that I watched was I decided that I was going to spend my money and pay $9.99 to watch on demand VHS2.
Oh, you did it! Oh, you bastard. I've been looking for a way to get hold of it. It's not here yet.
I did it.
And?
I did it.
Well, you did it and you haven't watched it yet.
No, I've watched it.
And?
I want my $9.99 back.
No. Ah, didn't want to hear that. I'm hoping we disagree on this one then.
I don't know if we might. There is one really good one in there. Maybe 1.5. There is some really again, it goes down the road to me of, hey look, it's the second one, so let's be more over the top. Let's throw in a boob where a boob doesn't need to be, and let's just be stupid and childish.
Yeah, but that's what I want.
I
want you to up the ante on the next one. That's what I'm paying for.
And it ups, and the one that I really liked, it ups the ante.
Right.
Big time on the blood and the effects, and wow, this is where all the money has gone on this particular short. And it's just amazing. But
well, it's worth it just for that bit then, surely.
Just for that bit, yeah. I mean, if you're paying, if you're renting it for $4 or whatever the regular DVD rental price would be, you'd be, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I got what I paid for. But I felt a little bit burned paying for it, just so I could see it on demand. But it's weird because everyone else is raving about it, and I'm starting to think that maybe I'm just different. I don't know, but I hope when you get around to seeing it, it will be it's going to be one of those ones where it's going to be great just to delve into both movies and really get into the shorts.
Yeah.
Of what we liked and stuff. But it's out there, people. Go watch it, see what you think, and tell me where I'm wrong, and hopefully maybe guess which one it is I really, really enjoyed. Just quickly on my other two, because one of them doesn't really. This is the one that doesn't really belong in the horror genre, but it says it's in horror because of what it is. It was the wife's pick for movie night last night, and with the choice of watching Mama, Dark Skies, or this one. She didn't want to watch Mama because it was too scary. Dark Skies was a bit sci-fi, so she doesn't really go in for that. But I will watch that at some point.
That's supposed to be scary as well.
Yeah, and it's only a PG-13. So I think, but it looks scary. It looks like it could freak me out. But she settled on Warm Bodies.
Oh.
Yeah. Which for people that don't know out there is basically
Twilight for zombies.
That's it. There you go. Ding, 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 ding.
Sorry, I stole your thunder there.
No. Yeah, that's really it. There are a bunch of zombies, there are a bunch of humans, the zombie falls in love with the human, and all of a sudden the zombies get cured. That's not really spoiling anything because it's all in the trailer. And it comes under the comedy, horror, romance genre. And there's no horror in it apart from it's a zombie. And there's maybe a couple of gross scenes from kills and eating brains and stuff like that. But and to be honest, it doesn't really belong in the comedy either. So it was. The wife liked it. It was okay. There's a pretty girl in it.
Well, that helps.
Yeah, I mean it makes it worth it.
I'm gonna guess a 0 on the boobometer.
Absolute 0, yes. Then that's PG-13, so you're not even gonna get any. I don't even think there's any sidage. So, nope. But yeah, Twilight for zombies.
Yep, no sidage, just silage.
Yep. And then my final movie, which was actually I had put on before, got 5 minutes into it, switched it off, but I went back to it last night and I finished it off this morning. Truth or Die, or Truth or Dare, It comes up in two different thingies.
Hi there. We've come for the party.
You want the keeper's cabin? You'll have to follow the track through the woods about half a mile.
I'm Justin. There's plenty to drink, plenty to eat. You're more than welcome to hang out here tonight. In fact, I hope that you will.
I think we need to sex this party up a bit.
I've got a better idea.
Truth or dare?
I choose truth. I want a confession. We'll keep playing until we get one.
So why are we here?
I just need one of you to own up. You bastard! And then we're all done here.
Truth or dare?
Dare. 2 containers. One's tap water, one's battery acid. You have to choose. That was an error of judgment.
Come on, let's do it dirty. Any way you like. Why us?
A photograph, 5 faces scratched out. Decision time, Luke.
3 bullets left. 50-50 chance.
Time to pick a side.
You're a sick man. You're psychotic. He's going to kill us, Luke.
Only to kill us. He'll kill you. This is what happens when people don't follow orders. Round and round and round it goes. Where it stops, nobody knows.
A little British movie.
Yeah.
It's another one of these bloody disgusting selects movies. It's basically a bunch of kids, fucking obnoxious fuckers.
Yeah.
You get your usual druggie in there, you get your bitch, you get your prick and all that, all this fun stuff. They have there's a party at the beginning, play a game of truth or dare. They obviously pick on the little geeky guy. The little geeky guy goes, the bitch comes over and goes, "Hey geeky guy, if you could sleep with anyone, who would it be?" And he picks his crush, and the crush's boyfriend gets pissed off with him, and fight ensues and all that fun stuff. And then basically, as a result of that, another party happens many, many months later where the same people are involved, and there's another version of Truth or Dare. Dun dun dun. It's not a bad little movie, actually.
Huh? Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I was expecting a slagging next.
No, I mean, there's some interesting little twists on some tales. I didn't really know where it was going, and even at the end, it kind of surprised me a little bit, because you can see some bits coming, but you were like, oh, okay, you did a little twist to get me to that little bit, kind of kept you guessing and everything like that. So, yeah, I mean, the people there, you're meant to hate them, and they do a good job at the acting. There's some pretty decent effects. Which comes in. There is a 0 on the boobometer. There's a chance for it, but it doesn't happen. But it's not a bad little movie for an hour and a half. I don't know if it's a not rated movie over here, so it's probably a straight to DVD type-esque thing. Truth or die, people. You might have a look. It's worth popping on for it. If you got an hour and a half to kill and you see it, I don't think people will be disappointed.
Well, one of the things I love about the horror genre, especially now we have these streaming services, and they all operate a 5-star rating system. Now, the only way you can use that rating system as a horror fan to decide whether you're going to watch something or not, you can't look for 4 and 5 stars, because you'll never find it.
Nope.
Because I think horror is so subjective. There is always people who loved it and people who hated it. Therefore, every single horror movie, unless it's complete and utter shit, will be a 3-star movie. If it's a 2-star movie, you might like it. If it's a 1-star movie, nobody likes it. Leave it run. Don't even bother.
Yeah.
But it never ceases to amaze me as I trawl through 3 stars, 3 stars, 3 stars, 3 stars, 3 stars. And occasionally I'm like, fuck off, that's 4 stars. But of course somebody else will have hated it. So
yeah, and that is the big problem, and that's what I've been trying to look at. Is my guide is the little star rating.
Yeah.
And one of the things that's really annoying me about Netflix that I would really like them to change is that I'd like to watch a trailer, please, of the movie that I'm about to pick.
Yeah.
Because I might watch more movies based on that little trailer going, hey, you know what, that's looks not bad. That would be a nice little thing for them to have in there. Because you never know when you're sitting with a whole choice of 10 2-star movies.
Yeah.
Do you bother with any of them?
The trick then is to go onto iTunes.
Yeah. I have been trying to look at IMDb or other reviews sites and stuff and try and find other bits. If there's something in the blurb that I really want to, that really stands out and jumps out. But this one I took a punt at. Especially because I'm seeing, like, say, this bloody disgusting selects things. I'm like, okay, really bloody disgusting? Is it really worth it? Can I blame you if it's crap?
Yes.
So those little standout things I'm more likely to choose a movie with that on it that's 2 stars than maybe a movie with no promotion on it.
If anybody wants another opinion for releasing, movies like this, if you want to do a little pod of horror selects, then just drop us a line, let us know.
Exactly. We won't take much of a cut.
No. I'm always happy to watch films.
Definitely. Send your screeners to us, please.
Even bloody awful ones.
Yes, that's very true.
Would you like me to lead on to something?
Oh, yes, sir, please do.
How about we have some of this?
A is for apple. B is for
Buzz.
C is for crayons. D is for drum.
Like scrotum, here it is in a nutshell.
Yes, I have watched a movie this week for B is for Boz, and I watched the Rob Zombie remake of Halloween.
Oh, you did? You fool! You fool, you!
What a pile of shit.
Like scrotum, here it is in a nutshell.
There you go, that was it. That's all I'm saying on the matter.
Oh!
I had to know.
Really? You had to know? You couldn't just trust everybody else?
No, I'm stubborn like that, I'm afraid. I did the same with Nightmare on Elm Street.
I haven't watched that yet.
I actually, my thing was I refused to talk about it. I've already said more than I was planning to say, so let's move on. That's all the airtime I'm giving it.
That's all it fucking deserves.
Yeah, just a shame. Rob, stick to music. I love your music, but please stop making movies. Anyway, I want to throw back a little bit, actually, to your VHS section.
Yes.
Because this actually would have been my Beers for Boz had I not fallen asleep 15 minutes before the end of the movie and decided the next day that I didn't care enough to go back and watch the last 15 minutes of the movie.
Okay.
You know how the first VHS, you're watching it, you're thinking, I don't know, this is possibly a bit ham, or perhaps this is a bit over the top, and then there's a twist at the end of each little story.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that's good. Oh, that's interesting. I thought I had you pegged. I thought this was predictable. At none of those short stories in the first VHS did I nail it. And every single one of them had merit to me at the end. Some were better than others, but they were all, pretty good. Well, I decided to watch a film this week called Scary or Die.
Oh, God. I didn't.
That's probably one of the worst titles I've ever seen in my life. But it is a complete rip-off, or, I don't know, maybe it came out first, I doubt it. But it's basically like VHS.
Okay.
Just with less actual story to the setup.
Okay.
So it starts with a camera moving through a house, goes through a door, and there's somebody sitting at a desktop computer with a hand on a mouse. Then it moves to the computer screen, and this website is called Scary or Die. Upload your movies here. Okay, so you're thinking, okay, so it's a similar sort of thing. Found footage, you upload your movie, but it's got to be scary. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So this thing scrolls through a load of windows. There's a still, clicks like a YouTube window, play. We then go into this window and it plays. Oh dear.
Oh, really?
Yeah, every single one. For a start, they had no budget, which was obvious, because when it came to any kind of area where there'd be some kind of gore or prosthetic or something like that, the camera just sort of cut away. Or, masked it somehow. It just didn't work. Yeah, it's so bad I can't actually remember what the first story was. All I know was halfway through was, oh, it's this. Okay, I don't give a shit if I spoil this, because nobody's actually going to watch it after I've finished here, so it doesn't matter. So, apologies if you were. But, there's one, it was the second story. It's following a Korean guy in, I don't know what city, an American city, basically. He comes out of Koreatown, and it's obvious his wife's dead, and he's a very sad, lonely guy, and this girl walks past and she sort of looks at him a couple of times, and he's like, "Oh, she looked at me." And then this guy appears, chloroforms her, and takes her into the back of a car, and all her friends run off and leave her. So he runs up to the car and he puts his iPhone in the flap at the back seat, and then goes on Find My iPhone on his laptop and tracks where the thing's going. This stuff's pretty inventive. Not inventive, but okay, it's trundling along nicely. And then he rescues the girl, because the guy's just about to stab her, and he punches him with a rock, and then he rescues her and takes her back to her apartment. She's like, "Oh, why don't you come back at 1 o'clock on Friday night? I'm having a little party." With this sort of seductive look, and then these two other girls come out and hurry her back in, and it's like, yeah, so they're obviously vampires, and the guy he punched in the face was obviously some kind of vampire hunter, and now he's going into a trap. Oh, look, they're vampires. That other guy's a vampire hunter. He's gone into a trap.
Oh, man.
It's pedestrian, lazy, predictable, not scary, not gory, nothing. Next one is called Remembered, okay, is the name of this little video. I wish I'd mentioned each time it goes back to this room and the person clicks and selects another video, but each time it goes back, the hand is slightly more decayed. Like it's turning into a zombie hand, okay? I'll come back to that. So the next one, Remembered. So this guy, it starts with a guy basically hacking up a corpse in a bath by the looks of it. But basically all they've got is he's got an arm and he looks like he's sawing it off and there's blood around the bath. So there's your special effects budget gone. And then he leaves a note on the table saying, "Job done, leave the money where agreed." And takes his duffel bag, puts it in the back of his car. Driving the car along, and he keeps hearing a knock, knock, knock from this dismembered corpse in the back. And it's like... Oh, sorry, before he cuts the guy up, he finds a little necklace pendant thing with a pentagram and a goat's head on it, belonging to the person he's clearly murdered. Mm-hmm. So, again, all the building blocks are there for you to put it together, and it's like, yes, the guy's going to come back to life at the end of the movie, and he's going to kill you. It was so fucking obvious. I was like, I'm so bored now. But the thing that hooked me into watching it was the poster is actually a pretty cool, scary clown face with big sharp teeth. Yeah. Well, that's where all the special effects budget went. And this is the best of the short stories in this thing. Basically, guy does a party, he's a bit of a drug dealer. His mum says, "I need your help with this party," blah, blah, blah. He oversleeps, and she goes, "Oh, this kid's disappeared. Come and pay the clown. We're all going to go and search for the kid." So he goes into the kitchen. The clown's weird, ends up biting him on the leg. He starts to turn into a weird clown. Again, saw it coming. There's one pretty cool scene where just because his face is going like white with red around the nose, and like his skin is pigmenting that colour. Mm-hmm. He tries to shave off his own skin. That is the only sort of wince-worthy bit. And yeah, somewhere in where he runs off and puts a paper bag over his head because he's turning into a scary clown and goes and lives on the streets. I fell asleep at that point. I'd already given up on the movie before this because they reuse a lot of the cast as well from different... They clearly didn't have many to choose from. So the guy who's from the Remembered video comes in, and he's a police officer, and he's asking them questions about where this little boy disappeared to, and he's going, "Yeah, the clown's weird, the clown bit me, my leg's really bad." And they have this sort of... These two coppers have this... It's supposed to be a buddy cop argument, and it's supposed to be funny. Mm-hmm. And they go into a whole is not, is to bit, and you're like, really? And you could tell that the people who made this film think this scene is hilarious. And then the guy's girlfriend comes in and goes, they're going, "Oh, what was the clown's name?" I don't remember the clown's name. She comes in, gets all angry, goes, "Oh, his name's Fucko. It was Fucko the clown, all right?" And of course, this is supposed to be the big punchline, but no, it's so badly done. I'm like, oh dear. And then when I saw the credits at the end, it was Fucko 1 and Fucko 2 actually listed in the credits because it was the only name the clown was ever given. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't care. I was so disappointed because I thought when I saw it was like a VHS short sort of thing. Like I said, often it's hard to finish a horror movie.
Yeah.
If it's too long. So shorts, it lends itself to brilliantly as a genre.
Yeah.
So there's no real excuse for doing things this badly. And again, it's one of these, where the fuck did you get the money? Who gave those people money to make that shit? When I know people who can make better who can't get that kind of money. You know, give that budget to our friends at Bloody Cuts and see what they produce, okay? This is my thinking. This is what makes me angry when I'm watching this shit. So my conclusion was, the hand on the mouse that's decomposing with each video, the reason it's decomposing is the site is called Scary or Die. It's not fucking scary. None of it's scary. So the guy watching it is dying. There's my review of that movie. Absolute shit. So, having brought up Bloody Cuts, we have watched the rest of the 8 short films that they created, the last of which being Don't Move. And I was suitably impressed, I have to say.
Oh, I mean, this is one of the things that was going through my head watching VHS 2. With the exact same thoughts that you had in your head when you were watching Scary or Die. Was why don't you give the money to the people that we know can make something really decent and be like 10 or 15 minutes long rather than being on the puerile shite that I am currently watching, which there's one of them in particular. When we get to VHS 2 we shall talk about, and I will tell you exactly the one that I'm referencing that should never have been in this movie to begin with.
Right, okay.
Because any one of these later Bloody Cuts ones would have been fit much better in there. Or even though they haven't done a found footage one yet. Bloody Cuts, do a found footage one, please. Please do found footage. I'd like to see your take on it. But yeah, so I mean, these guys are fantastic. Watching their movies, I watched them in reverse order, which was kind of funny.
Interesting. Okay.
Don't ask me why I did that. I just did. It was the way they were coming up on my YouTube probably or something, and I was just going backwards from doing it. And you can see, I'm going to say this, and I do not mean it as it sounds, okay? But each one, as it goes back, gets slightly worse, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
Yeah, I was actually going to say the same thing. I was going to say, did you notice the effect in reverse? Because you do notice them get progressively better with each one they make.
Yes.
None of them are bad to start with.
No. And that's why I don't want it to sound really bad, and if they're listening to this, then I'm not saying anything's bad. But you can see how they've got more confident, or there's more money, or they're trying new effects and everything like that as they go along. I mean, for me, personally, these guys knocked it out of the park with Sucker Blood, which was their 5th one. It's
brilliant.
An fantastic little short, which if you guys out there haven't watched it, stop right now, go watch it, and just marvel in it and sit for 20 minutes at the marvel that it is. And since going back and reading all the little stories about it, I'm fairly sure this is the one that they made thanks to a very generous donation from a wonderful human being called Stephen Fry. And if you don't know who Stephen Fry is, slap yourself, people.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. This is me not reading around the subject as usual.
Yeah, I've been reading some of them, and he watched, I don't know whether his mother died or one of the earlier movies, and he gave them a rather generous donation.
Wow.
For them, and they used that money and put it into Sucker Blood. Wow.
Fantastic. And it's great because it's a completely different style to all the others.
Yes.
I mean, they all have a different style about them, but this one is just fantastical and fairy tale-ish and it's sort of very grim, as in a grim tale, isn't it?
Yes.
Sort of, I really enjoyed it.
But yeah, each of their ones so far, and there are 8, are all completely different style of horror, which I think is fantastic that they're just playing with it. And seeing what works, and they're not limiting themselves to any particular sub-genre type thing. Wow, I cannot wait for. I know that they're releasing a Blu-ray, with everything they've shot so far and all special features and all that stuff, and I cannot wait for that to come out and buy it. These guys deserve the money that people can give them.
I'm actually really gutted this week because I was watching. I noticed a tweet from them. They were selling some original promotional posters for Sucker Blood on eBay, and I was watching it, but I think it ended at an unsociable hour last night, or my phone didn't remind me. I don't know what happened, but the auction ended, and I was like, shit, I would have paid more for it than that. Because it's not that, I'm not necessarily, this will be worth £1 million one day. It's not that sort of thing. It's more, it's a really cool piece of art, which relates to something I really like, but also I know that donations going forward are going to help create even more of this stuff. So I will probably just be honest, just make a donation of something else. But it would have been cool to get a poster for it.
It would have been, yeah. And I think there's going to be other stuff, because what they're doing is they're not doing a Kickstarter campaign to raise for number 9 or anything like that. I believe that they're selling stuff through eBay to get funds and obviously give people cool stuff. And I encourage people to go over to the site and just don't watch the little movies. It's there. Read some of the stories behind them. And you can actually purchase some stuff from their store if you wish to. There's t-shirts and stuff on their store.
I might do that then.
So they're £23. I don't know if it converts into dollars or even do stuff, but there are t-shirts and stuff that's over there you can get, which are pretty cool t-shirts, because you see some of the original posters that they do for these movies, and they're just awesome the way they hark back to some of the older movies and everything. It's just, these guys have got some talent. These guys got.
Oh, the poster was signed as well. Bloody hell! Sorry, I interrupted you completely.
It's all right. Yeah, they try and make it worth it so that you can get your money and stuff. But yeah, I mean, please do, people, go over to bloodycuts.co.uk and check out these little short films. None of them are really long. I think Don't Move is like 10 minutes or something like that. It looks long because there's a huge amount of credits that goes into these guys, because there's a lot of work that goes behind all these movies. And like I say, when you read the little stories or kind of blog posts and stuff behind them, when you find out what they can do in 2 days, you're like, you did that in 2 days?
Yeah, okay. You bastards.
There's obviously a lot more production work before and after and things like that, but when you're doing the filming and everything like that in like 2 days, and you're like, shit. Wow. It just makes it all the more impressive. And I mean, just round of applause to these guys, and I cannot wait to see what they come out with. For, is it 13 movies they're doing in total? Shit, I can't remember.
Oh, as long as they keep coming is all I care about. So.
I think there's I can't remember what it is, but I think it's supposed to be like up to 13 or something like that. They've got a set number of movies that they want to do. So maybe it's 6, 15, I can't remember. But
we did mention their win at the Frightmare weekend, didn't we?
We haven't, no, because I think we mentioned it before that. But yes, they did win. I don't know what they won.
Grand prize, yeah.
Yes, number
Deservedly
1.
So.
Which is amazing. And I really, really hope that these guys get involved, and that Fright Fest is still doing it. We need to talk about this briefly. The Fright Fest are still doing their little shorts, and these guys can get in there and get their name into some bigger directors that might be watching some of these shorts at the festivals and what. And these guys get really out there on the festival circuit, and more people watch them. I know from reading their tweets and stuff, there's a lot of love for these guys, and quite rightly so.
Too right.
Yeah, so keep up the good work, peeps. We cannot wait to hear, or see, not hear, see what comes next. And fingers crossed it's soon.
Yeah, we'll promote.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Speaking of Fright Fest, do we want to share your sad news?
Yes, we said sort of last time, didn't we? And I was like, we'll get to that, and then we'll get to it. Which just doesn't bother me, because it's kind of depressing news. It's not depressing because I'm doing something awesome as well, but I don't know what it is about that particular weekend this year, but I've had about 5 invites to different things, and it's like, it's one of those situations where I've got to go with the first thing I agreed to.
Yeah.
But I mean, to be honest, it would have been anyway, because what it is, it's the 40th birthday of a very good buddy of mine that some of you may know. One, Miss Alison Downing, of Simply Syndicated fame, some would say the supporting backbone of the network. She is awesome, and her party's going to be immense. And everything comes second place to that as far as I'm concerned, even Fright Fest, which is a little bit, not a little bit. It's a disappointment to not be going, especially as we had an anonymous benefactor who was going to fund the trip, well, some of the trip to the show, and we can't take that offer up, unfortunately. So unless Gordon can get a week off and a flight here.
Oh, trust me, it's tempting.
Yeah, the cash for the flight, and you know, you could stay here. I can offer that much, but I'll give you the key. I'm sodding off, but you could have the flat.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, things just don't permit to get to. But yeah, so unfortunately, there will not be a Little Pot of Horrors presence for this year's Fright Fest. Yeah, but fingers crossed next year's.
Yeah, I'm keeping I'm going to put it in the diary for next year, and you know, barring a death in the family, I'm going next year, but assuming I can get a ticket.
Yeah.
So,
just for those of you who are listening who or still don't know all the details, the tickets are not going to be released just yet. The email has come out just confirming that the festival is going to run from Thursday the 22nd of August through Monday the 26th of August. The tickets will be, the full programme is going to be announced at 2 o'clock on the 28th of June, with the tickets available from 10:30 a.m. the following day to members of the sleepy queue. What that means is these people are the people who stand in line overnight, specifically so they can pick their seats and be part of an ever-growing sleepy queue, from what I believe. It just gets bigger and bigger every year as the diehards get there. So you get there first for 10:30, camping overnight or whatever outside the Empire in Leicester Square.
I'd probably have done that, you know.
And then the online and telephone sales commence at noon on that'll be the 29th. So 29th of June, but noon. If you want your tickets, you have to be quick. Festival passes are going to be $170, not dollars, pounds. $170. So I gotta say it again. £170. I can see the pound sign in front of me. Damn it. £170, which sounds a lot of money. It is a lot of money, but you're getting 4 full days of movies. So when you chop that up into 20 plus movies, that's not a lot per movie. And then they're doing day passes for the days, so it's £29 for the Thursday because it's usually only the night. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday's £56 because it's all day.
I didn't know they did day passes. I might be able to squeeze a day.
They're doing day passes. Thursday, like I say, Thursday will probably be afternoon or evening. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
29. Then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all day passes are £56, and then you can have a day pass on the Monday for £47, which is slightly cheaper because there'll be 1 or 2 less movies. And then even then, a single ticket price is $12. Shit, I said it again. 12. Sorry. The single tickets are £12. Which £12 for a movie ticket is a lot, but you're going to be at the Empire in Leicester Square, and if you haven't been to the Empire in Leicester Square on the big screen, I think £12 A is cheap for Leicester Square.
Yeah, it is actually.
And B is completely worth it for that cinema.
Very often you get extras with the movie as well, like, you know, the creators are sometimes there. And,
yeah,
you know,
you probably get little bonuses, hopefully, depending on which one you get. So if you see a movie that you go, hang on, I can't go the whole day, but you can maybe catch one, you do have that option of going there. So if you're interested in going, people, over the end of the month, and then hopefully, unfortunately, they haven't released a list of the movies or even pre-released a list of the movies yet, so I can't even see what's going to be there or anything. But just go to their website, frightfest.co.uk, sign up for the newsletter, and they'll make sure that it all gets emailed well in advance. And for people who do go in the sleepy queue, what are they getting as a special sneak preview? They get to watch The Conjuring. So for people who are there just for the sleepy queue only, they will be getting to see a screening of The Conjuring.
Brilliant.
Which is pretty cool. So that's also a little bonus they say as a kind of thank you for the people that do camp there for many, 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 many hours. So it is.
I may look at sneaking to one of the days before that weekend and just see if I maybe take a day off and go. So
I mean, even for a day, it would be worth it just to get the little festival feel, and you never know what you're going to get. And hopefully it wouldn't be one of those days where it's just a bunch of pish. Or you're just sitting there going, I spent how much on this, Goggs? I'm going to fucking kick your ass if I see you. But yeah, so that's the Fright Fest news, people, and unfortunately, again, for a very good reason. I mean, it's not as if you're avoiding it because you're going to cut your hair or something that weekend. It's
slightly more important.
Yes, it is a special reason that you are not going to be able to make it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Always next year and many years to come.
Absolutely.
Hopefully.
Anybody listening who does land tickets, especially if it's a full weekend ticket, if you want to gloat, please do. We'd love to know how many, if any of you are going, and then, like I've said before, if you have the wherewithal to record some comment on the festival, then that would be welcome as well. So,
and also, which I'm going to be doing, it's a pretty please. If they're still doing this, they usually hand out shitloads of programs on the run-up to the festival, which gives you details of all the movies that are going and gives you little synopses of all the movies that are going, and they're pretty cool looking little programs. If anybody can get their hands on one and maybe kind of, arrange for us to obtain a copy,
yes,
please get in touch and we'll send addresses and postage and all that fun stuff. But they usually do hand them all out weeks before, or a couple of weeks before it happens, to anybody who wants to go in and get one. Because I've usually ended up, me being sad, I think I had like 4 or 5 copies of each program, because one was a one I wanted to keep to be all nice, and the other ones were the ones I was rolling up and throwing in my bag in my back pocket, and all those fun stuff as I was going along and writing all over and everything like that. So
this is the thing, if it's played at Fright Fest, we want to see it. So like when the event's done and dusted, a list of what was played shows us what we've got to catch up on if we can get our hands on it. So,
yes,
very important. I think I had a couple more movies, but I think we've hit the hour mark. Should we?
Wow, really?
Yeah. Shall we slit its throat with the machete there?
I think we shall. So we shall. And time has flown past, people, as always. So yes, we shall call it quits here. And I'll give you a little preview of what's coming up in the next show, people. It will be my introduction of my first pick for the Pod of Classics.
Yay.
Yeah, so drum rolls.
It is a classic.
Get your guesses in here and you'll see if you're right or not. But that will be coming up in the next show. Definitely. So, once again, I'd like to thank you very much for taking the time to record this, Mr. Balls.
Always a pleasure, my friend.
And thank you all very much for listening, and we shall speak to you all soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
The next episode, I will give you a little preamble. It will cover my very first selection into the Pod of Horrors.
Or the Pod of Classics, even.
Shit!
Should I do that again?
Fuck, yes. Okay. Fuck! Okay, that's the outtake for this show.
Yeah. Stroke that one up, buddy.
Okay. 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 Okay.